Back at it, it is Thursday, the 18th day of April 2024. I am Dan Kuntz. Welcome to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is chilly. If you haven't stepped outside, it's downright cool. It's spring, but 37 is a little chilly. Chelan gets the award though. It's 29 degrees in Chelan. It's 3 degrees below freezing up there. Other places are reporting very chilly temperatures right now. Ellensburg is at 30. Freight at 39 degrees. Again, we're at 37 degrees. It's going to take us a little while to warm up. We're going to be maybe a degree or two warmer than we were yesterday. We hit 60. Very pleasant day yesterday. Very little wind. We're going to be a little bit warmer today. Quite breezy on Friday and Friday afternoon. The winds will die down. Friday about sunset or so, and then a gorgeous weekend, and the early part of next week is looking good too. Lots of sunshine. That's the one consistent throughout this forecast, and we'll have it for you in just a couple of minutes. Plus news, the Mariners sweep the Reds, first sweep of the year, first series win of the year. They look good doing it. They only gave up one hit. 5-1 victory. Highlights of Seattle's victory over Cincinnati. We'll have the prep lineup for today. It's a fairly light schedule. Friendly reminder, we got baseball tomorrow. It'll be live on our Facebook page at about 4 o'clock, and we'll have it on TV tomorrow night. It's the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats doubleheader at Historic Recreation Park in Wenatchee. Just a little programming reminder there. Thursday, it's Paws for Pets. Diesel, the dog, needs a home. And part two of my two-part interview with Dave Erickson and Katie Hoffman from the City of Wenatchee's Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Department. Yesterday, we talked about the fixing of the city pool, that $2 million project that they're almost done with. They'll be done in about a month, making some good progress there. This morning with Dave, we'll talk about everything else that the Parks and Rec folks are going to be doing this spring and summer. Fascinating interview, very informative. Don't miss it. Dave Erickson and Katie Hoffman in the back half of the program, 2 minutes after the hour. Here we go. We only have 3 cameras today, and they're going to be the same 3 cameras that we had yesterday. Long story. Well, you don't care. But anyway, there you go. East Wenatchee gets the love today from our lower cross camera, our lower heights camera. This is the one that's a little bit more to the east and slightly lower in elevation. We hit 60 on Wednesday. Our normal high is 62, but it felt about normal. You get out in the sunlight, of course, it always feels a little bit warmer than that. Sunrise this morning was at 6:05, just about an hour ago. Sunset tonight, 7:55, 13 hours and 50 minutes of daylight. Sunset will be past 8 o'clock by the time we get to the weekend. So these days are definitely getting longer. Let's check into Lake Chelan in the Lower Butte. Good morning. You can see a good swath of the lake itself. Good, beautiful view there. You can see the marina. The Three Fingers project continues to go in. Hello, Lake Chelan. You're chilly. You're only 30 degrees up in the city of Chelan from our Lower Butte camera, and we'll take Chelan in from another angle, Union Valley. And there's a big swath of Lake Chelan there. From our Union Valley camera, way off in the distance is actually the Wenatchee Valley and some of the mountains that surround the Aniad Valley. Beautiful view there from Union Valley, which is high above the north shore of Lake Chelan. Good stuff there. Yes, it is chilly. Yeah, some frosty conditions are going to exist until the sun gets high enough in the sky to warm things up a little bit, but it is rather cool. This is coolest temperatures we've seen this time of the year in quite some time. Of course, there's no clouds. The clouds have eroded, and there's no blanket. So the likelihood of frost this morning remains, especially out in the Columbia Basin and here in the Wenatchee Valley and other locations as well. Again, Manson's only 29 degrees, and that's where Chelan is too as well. So it is chilly. We are eventually going to warm up, and then we start with some windy conditions tomorrow. And this is something, excuse me, we don't see too often. Winds will be out of the east. That's pretty rare. It's also going to be very dry. Relative humidity is going to be super duper low, so the pressure gradients are going to make us a tad gusty across our viewing area. We'll see gusts pretty strong in the afternoon. They will ease off right around sunset, but it is going to be breezy, especially tomorrow. But temperatures are actually going to be just a little bit warmer, perhaps. Certainly by the time we get to the weekend, but watch out for some windy conditions tomorrow. It's going to feel a little cooler when you have those dry winds out of the east. And again, those easterly winds, that's pretty rare around these parts. Normally the winds come through the Cascade Gaps From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. 61 today. Light and variable wind, very pleasant indeed, pretty much just like yesterday, maybe a degree warmer. Is there really a difference between 60 and 61? Yeah, I don't think so. Another chilly overnight low tonight, 37. Again, no cloud cover, no blanket. Going to get cold. Big story tomorrow is the wind. We talked about that. In the Wenatchee Valley, sustained wind at about 10 miles an hour out of the east. And then it's going to be picking up in intensity in the afternoon hours. We're not talking strong winds, but enough to make you feel it anyway. 61 our forecast high Friday. Friday night clear. Winds die down. 37 for the overnight low. Good looking weekend. Saturday, sunshine 63. Sunday, sunshine 63. A little cooler than we were anticipating, but we'll take it. Monday, back to work at 68. Wednesday is the day before the start of the 105th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Too far out to really give you a good, solid idea of what the weather's going to be like, but if this pattern continues, it looks like the first week of Apple Blossom Festival is beginning to be mighty fine indeed. That is your weather forecast. We're going to take a break, and then we'll have the news for you. You're watching the Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
It's me, Blippi!
Blippi's back on stage with his brand new Wonderful World Tour.
I'm an excavator.
Sing, dance, and make new discoveries. In Blippi, the Wonderful World Tour with special guest Mika.
My name is Mika. Yeah, it's nice to meet ya.
For tickets and more, visit BlippiOnTour.com. Blippi, the Wonderful World Tour.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Your home runs on hot water. From the kitchen, to the bath, to the laundry. So Rheem offers a wide variety of water heaters from traditional models to ones smart enough to tell you how much hot water is available. On second thought, perhaps the laundry can wait.
Call After Hours Plumbing for all your water heating needs.
Sangster Motors has the hottest lineup of GMC vehicles in years. From the top-selling Sierra pickups to the all-new Canyon midsize, Sangster has you covered. Add the luxury of a new Yukon or the outrageous new Hummer Electric, and you have it all right here at Sangster Motors.
Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models. Or current eligible GMC owners get over $7,800 total value.
Clear skies, but a rather cool 37 degrees. Lower 60s today, bountiful sunshine. Lower 60s Friday with a little bit of wind. Beautiful weekend and a great start to next week as well. We're on a real winning streak as far as Mother Nature is concerned. It's 9 minutes after the hour. A Wenatchee man is accused of burning down a parked camper trailer on Tuesday. Apparently, this is part of an ongoing domestic dispute. 47-year-old Corey Matthew Presby was arrested about 9:30 on Tuesday night, 6 hours after he allegedly set fire to the trailer on a high rural road between Halverson Canyon and Pitcher Canyon. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies say Presby then fled the area on foot into the woods apparently, and they couldn't find him. They tried a helicopter and a drone, but he later called Rivercom. He said he's cold, he's lost, and he'll go ahead and just turn himself in. So deputies arrested Presby after he waited for them at a construction site less than a mile from where the incident happened. He faces likely charges of first-degree arson and violating a no-contact order. A portion of Chelan County's rules on short-term rentals is heading back to the drawing board. Chelan County commissioners voted 2-1 on Tuesday to revisit the cap on the percentage of homes that can be offered for nightly or weekly rental. For most of Chelan County, that cap is 6% of total housing units. In Manson's urban growth area, that cap is 9%. Commissioner Tiffany Gehring, whose district includes Manson, pushed for a county-wide review on whether those caps are even needed at all. She and Commissioner Sean Smith voted in favor. Commissioner Kevin Overbay voted no. The question now goes to the Chelan County Planning Commission.
Not only do I not see the need for a cap because I don't see a correlation between affordable housing and STRs, but I also see that we now have a system in place for enforcement, and that one that is working effectively that never has been before. So I would like the Planning Commission to consider not having the caps at all.
And sending it back to the Planning Commission, it gives the public the opportunity to come back and speak again, because that would go to a public comment period if it went to the Planning Commission.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they would get the opportunity to say, this is really working, or this is really broken, or this is what we could do somewhere in between. I don't have a problem with the Planning Commission handling that. That's what their job description is in my mind. They're the ones that open it up and take the
And look at
public
it.
comment period, the recommendations, and bring back to us.
I'm sure that the STR side would love to see the caps lifted, but they were put into place to minimize impacts to neighborhoods and folks that reside in the area that live in and around that. And a lot of that is protection of neighborhoods.
Chelan County PUD commissioners earlier this week decided on the rates for the folks who live in Peshastin and use water. The PUD agreed to take over management of the Upper Valley's community water system effective this year, but it needed to add a rate equalization charge to Peshastin water bills to pay for improvements. Commissioners voted unanimously for a $3 residential charge each month. That begins June 1st, with increases to $6 and then $9 in 2025 and then 2026. Commercial and industrial clients will also see added charges. It could range to up to $1,000 depending on exactly how much water they use. Speaking of water, because of a low snowpack and long-term dry weather expected, the Washington State Department of Ecology has declared a drought emergency for almost the entire state. Just the general Seattle area is exempt. Although Washington's snowpack made up some ground in February, March, and April, it was an exceptionally dry start to the winter season. That means there isn't enough water in the mountain snowpack to prevent serious impacts for water users when it gets hot outside. Snowpack, rainfall, and irrigation flows from major rivers provide the necessary water supply to sustain communities and, of course, agriculture. The Department of Fish and Wildlife says the impacts of low flows raise serious concerns for fish and other species as well. The Department of Ecology is making up to $4.5 million available in drought response grants to qualifying public entities to respond to the impacts of the current drought conditions. City of Wenatchee is holding their annual free recycling event. It's this Saturday. Acceptable items, which can be brought to 1745 South Wenatchee Avenue. These are things you can bring. Automotive batteries, scrap iron, appliances, televisions, air conditioners, laptops, computers, and up to 15 passenger and light truck tires. Residents will not be able to bring down items like propane tanks, any tanks that still has pressure in them, mattresses, furniture, household batteries, garbage, that kind of stuff. Brush, tree limbs, branches, and grass clippings, plus yard waste. They're going to recycle those at the Stimmelt Organic Yard Waste. That's right next door to where the recycling event is going to be. That is limited for yard waste to 2 standard pickups per household. And this is for residents of the City of Wenatchee only, so you do have to prove that you live in the City of Wenatchee to participate. They'll open the doors at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. And former Westside High School art teacher Steve Wellman, this is an interesting story, set out to create the world's first hyperbike. What's a hyperbike? Well, you're going to learn about it. He had a major crash at the Portland International Raceway 7 years ago. He says that crash was assigned to focus on the bike itself, which Wellman calls a mobile sculpture. We caught up with Wellman to discuss his upcoming showcase of the bike at a local restaurant.
You know, I want the best. No excuses. No room for error. I was the art teacher at Westside High School. And one of my first students, after he got thrown out for something, we were talking, and he says, "Hey, Wellman, why don't you come to the racetrack with me? I think you'd like it." And so that's what started the whole thing. When I got there and I saw race bikes, I said, no way am I getting on one of those kind of bikes. Period. Not going to do it. And he said, Wellman, I signed you up for this thing called the Taste of Racing. So during the lunch break for the racers, they put, dweeby newbies like me out there on the track. And I said, well, I don't have a bike. He said, you're riding one of my race bikes. And I reluctantly said, okay. And when I came back in, I had a smile that went from this ear to this ear that I couldn't get rid of for about 3 hours. In 2017, August 27th, 2017, I had the worst crash I've ever had at Portland International Raceway. And so I think, the spirits were telling me, listen, concentrate on the bike. Get out of this racing thing. We only have a little time here. You're not no spring chicken. So you need to work on the bike.
As it stands, the Hyperbike has 800 horsepower, goes 250 miles per hour, yet weighs only roughly 450 pounds due to its carbon fiber aspects.
In a way, it helped to create my life because I was so intertwined with it for so long that, that this has been my life. So, I'm not sorry. I'm glad. So, 15 years, 15 minutes. I don't know.
Wellman named the bike the Nagual, the Aztec word for sorcerer. His choice of an Aztec name stems from the Aztec belief of shape-shifting, since Wellman says to successfully ride the Hyperbike, you must become it. He plans to re-outfit the bike and go after the elusive 300-mile-per-hour land speed record at the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. From there, he will take the bike to a motorcycle exhibition show in California. But before any of this, Wellman wants to showcase the bike to his hometown.
Tell us about your upcoming showcase at Zebra Brasier and your goal going into that.
April 20th. I'll be there at 8 a.m., going to 4, and we're going to have T-shirts, and posters, and a lot of fun. And then you'll get to see the restaurant, which is absolutely beautiful. And then you can see the bike, which is absolutely beautiful.
And that is what's making headlines on this Thursday. Don't forget the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight on television, 5, 6, and 10. The NCW Life Channel Evening News. If that doesn't fit in your schedule, it'll be up and running on the World Wide Web. You can watch the news on our homepage, ncwlife.com. It'll be in our YouTube page. It'll be in our Facebook page. It'll be in our app. No excuse. If you want to know what's going on, we'll fill the bill for you. And that's how you get to our app, by the way. There's a QR code. If something out there warrants our attention, you send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. A good Wednesday afternoon for the Seattle Mariners. They've turned the ship around. We'll talk about that in 2 minutes with sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I moved here 6 years ago. The manager here asked me what I like to do, and I told him that I like to play games, I like to play cards. And he said, boy, have I got a woman for you to meet. And he introduced me to her, and we walked down the hall, and I took her hand, and we've never let go of each other.
Life is so good when you're happy, and I'm very happy at Prestige.
So you may have heard the latest trend, shrinkflation. Companies are making products smaller and decreasing the quality of their ingredients. Well, at Abby's, we're going the opposite direction. We're sticking with the same plan that's worked since 1964. For a real value, head to Abby's. This is Skinny, and he helped found Abby's 60 years ago. In honor of Skinny, we're putting his favorite pizza on sale. Savory pizza sauce, Canadian bacon piled to the edge, and juicy tomatoes make this a very special pizza. Order your Skinny special right now at abbys.com.
Yo escogí Pinnacles porque aquí en la escuela es muy tranquilo porque hay pocos estudiantes y muchas oportunidades para ellos. Es una escuela pequeña y tranquila. Me gusta venir a la escuela cada día porque hacen que la escuela sea divertida.
Escogí la escuela Pinnacles porque es una gran escuela para la comunidad y también una gran experiencia para mi hijo.
Come on, I'm a certified technician. I was trained to take good care of you.
9. I've only been to the dealer.
I've been coming here for years. These guys are great.
Look around. The BMW, the Jag, the Volvo, they're all waiting for regular service. Well, the BMW has a little computer issue, but that's nothing we can't handle. Come on in.
From regular maintenance to computer troubleshooting, trust the Global Car Care technicians with your import, diesel-powered, or domestic vehicle. Global Car Care. They speak your car's language.
Dankeschön.
Minutes after the air, Seattle Mariners beat Cincinnati yesterday afternoon. The final there was 5-1, so they complete a 3-game sweep of the Reds. Bryce Miller and 3 relievers combined on one hitter. Cal Raleigh, Mitch Garver, and Josh Rojas all hit solo home runs for the M's.
Pretty well hit, right field. Haniger back, and that is gone. The Reds strike first. De La Cruz pulls one to right center. 1-0. Uh-oh.
High drive, deep left field. You can wave goodbye to that one. Mariners got a tie ball game. Cal Raleigh with a home run, his 3rd of the season. Big Cal leaned into that one, didn't he? Another right-hand home run for Cal. How about that?
The 0-1 pitch to Garver.
From last year. There we go. High drive, left field. Mitch Garver, everybody, is first. Mariner home run. It's a 2-1 Seattle lead. You knew it had to happen at some point. Great to see it happen right now to give the Mariners the lead here in the 6th inning.
Lucas Sims, right-hander out of the bullpen.
Hey, fly ball right field. Big drive by Rojas, and it is gone. Josh Rojas with a home run.
How about a pinch hit home run?
Woo.
He really has made the most of his playing opportunity.
You know it.
Being aggressive. First pitch to him, fastball, middle of the plate, just barreled up. High fly ball and went the way the wind's blowing, not sure, but exit below 104. 362 feet into the seats.
Josh Rojas, that's his first Mariner home run this season. I'd say if this young man wants to get on the giddy up, try to get first stolen base in the big leagues. He goes. Julio swinging a miss, throw down to second, not in time, got his first bag. There it is, first stolen base for Class A.
Here's Mitch Haniger.
That works in classic and motor. Here he comes. They got no chance getting him. Forget that. Don't even bother throwing. Come on. That kid was flying. Mitch Haniger keeps his hitting streak alive in 8 ball games. Picks up an RBI, and the Mariners have a 4-1 lead. And he continues with 2 outs, 2 on.
Couple of walks in the inning.
How about that? Ty France walks 3 consecutive times, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. That works as well. 5-1 Mariners. Another RBI for Cal, his 2nd today, 6 on the season.
The brooms are out, and here is Will Benson. 5-1 Mariners leads.
3-2 with 2 outs. And got him! Beautiful game today by the Mariners. Offense, defense, pitching. It's been spectacular. They sweep the Cincinnati Reds and move to within a game of 500.
So the Mariners are off today. They'll be in Denver to begin a 3-game series against the Rockies. That'll be tomorrow evening. How do the rest of the teams do in the American League West? Well, they all won except the Astros. The Astros lost to the Braves in 10 innings, 5-4, but the Rangers nipped the Tigers. It was Oakland over St. Louis, and the LA Angels got by Tampa Bay. As far as the Kraken are concerned, well, they're done after tonight. They close out a rather disappointing season. They have a road match against the Minnesota Wild It'll be on ESPN at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Neither team, the Wild or the Kraken, qualified for the playoffs. The Kraken last year ended the regular season with 100 points. This year, they've been stuck at 79 points, seemingly forever. Anyway, their season comes to an end after tonight's game. Here's your prep soccer schedule. Starting for tonight, it's mostly the small schools. Omak is at Quincy at 6 o'clock. Of course, Cascade, undefeated all year long, both league and non-league. They'll try and keep that going. They'll host Chelan at 6 o'clock, and Othello will take on Kashmir and a non-leaguer at 6 o'clock. Earlier in the day today, Tonasca will be at Bridgeport at 4 o'clock. On the pitch, it's Okanagan at Brewster, Orville at Pateros, and also Manson at Liberty Bell. Those three at 4:30. Prep baseball, pretty light. Liberty Bell will be at Bridgeport at 4:30 this afternoon. Orville travels to Tonasket. First pitch at 4:30. Lake Roosevelt will be in Manson at 4:30. And Moses Lake Christian Covenant and Waterville Mansfield will do battle up in Waterville at 4:30. Prep softball, one doubleheader. Omak will take on Brewster. First pitch of the first game will be at 3 o'clock. Liberty Bell will be at Bridgeport. Lake Roosevelt at Manson, and Tonasket at Orville. And don't forget, we got baseball tomorrow. Eastmont Wildcats, Wenatchee Panthers at Historic Recreation Park. It's a doubleheader because it's Friday. We'll have it for you on our Facebook page at about 3:50 for the pregame show. First pitch on the first game will be at 4 o'clock. Eric Granstrom with the play-by-play. Eastmont and Wenatchee at Rec Park. We'll have it for you tomorrow. It'll be on TV, by the way, at 7 o'clock on a tape delay basis. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. If you want to, you can celebrate the following obscure holidays. It's National Animal Crackers Day, National Columnists Day, for those of you who write a column. It's National High Five Day. It's National Get to Know Your Customers Day. It's National Piñata Day. Sometimes I feel like I'm on the receiving end of that. Today is Pet Owners Independence Day, which means you're supposed to take the day off from work and stay home with your pet, I guess. I don't know. But today, no, it's all about the linemen. National Linemen's Appreciation Day. I am a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun. I can't sing any more than that, or we'd have to pay mechanical royalties to Jimmy Webb, and who's kidding who? It's expensive. Lineman, the job of a lineman started in the 1840s with telegraph lines, and they worked out in the middle of nowhere running telegraph lines across this country on telegraph poles. And then after the invention of the telephone in like the 1880s, telephone poles and linemen were hand in hand. And then, of course, electricity after that. Being a lineman back in the day meant you were transit. You moved from town to town and city to city to do your job. That's not the case anymore. It was also a completely unregulated industry until after World War II, when the huge building boom in this country in the post-war era meant that a lineman could stay closer to home, number one, and number two, it was actually regulated. You know, so you had to know what you were doing, and you were paid a decent wage, and people, a lot less linemen, were getting killed on the job. How many miles of wire are there on telephone poles? About 9 million miles of wire stretching across this country, and about 170 million wooden poles, and about another 30 million or so steel or aluminum poles. Just to become a journeyman lineman takes over 7,000 hours of training just to get your foot in the door. And if you want to be a lineman when you grow up, you really want to be a lineman for a public utility district. Linemen for privately owned companies, they make about $30 an hour. If you're a lineman for a public utility district, you make about twice that. But it's a dangerous job, but somebody's got to do it. So shout out to the linemen. Today is National Lineman Appreciation Day, and it's 28 minutes after the hour. April 18th, 1906 was a Wednesday morning. It was 5 o'clock. People were asleep in San Francisco. There was a little pre-earthquake shake, and then it hit. 42 seconds of one of the strongest earthquakes ever to strike North America. This was 30 years before they came up with the Richter scale, so nobody really knows. Best estimate, it was over an 8.0 earthquake that strikes the city of San Francisco in the Bay Area. How many people died? They don't really know. They know over 3,000 people died. They don't have an exact figure. 80% of the city of San Francisco was completely and utterly destroyed, either by the earthquake or by the subsequent fires that happened. It's the deadliest earthquake in this country's history. It's like the third deadliest natural disaster ever in this country's history. 400,000 people lived in San Francisco in 1906, and 2/3 of those people were left homeless. And San Francisco was essentially cut off from the rest of California and the rest of the country for about 4 or 5 days before they could reestablish connections. The Great San Francisco Earthquake, 118 years ago today. 101 years ago today, the most famous stadium in American history, Yankee Stadium, opens at 161st Street and Riverside Avenue in the Bronx, New York. The house that Ruth built, that's how it looked like. In 1923, the original Yankee Stadium opened. Of course, Babe Ruth hit the first home run. The Yankees won. They beat the Red Sox 4-1. Yankee Stadium not only, of course, played host to the Yankees for many, many years, but football games, religious revivals, any number of events were held at Yankee Stadium, the Cathedral of Baseball, the first baseball stadium. I mean, a stadium, this thing was twice as big as any other stadium that existed at the time. And this is a most amazing statistic. Yankee Stadium played host to 161 postseason baseball games, 100 World Series games. As Sandy Koufax once said, it's not the World Series unless it's played at Yankee Stadium, which was opened 101 years ago today. Of course, it's gone now. 82 years ago today, April 18th, 1942, we're 4.5 months after Pearl Harbor. The war ain't going real good. We're losing ground. And James Doolittle and his gang says, let's do a little bombing of Japan. It was known as the Doolittle Raid. It did very little physical damage to Japan proper, but it was a huge boost for the American morale, and it kind of let the Japanese know that we have the capability to bomb your mainland. Now, of course, there were some technical difficulties, logistics for one thing. They could only go one way. The Doolittle Raiders could take off, bomb Japan, and then just keep going. They couldn't turn around and go back to where they came from, but they did pretty well. 16 planes, 80 airmen. They bombed Tokyo, Yokohama, Kobe, and Nagoya. They either crashed or bailed out. One crew actually landed in the Soviet Union safely. So they lost, of the 16 planes, they lost 15 of them. They had the one that landed in the Soviet Union. But 69 of the 80 airmen got out alive, which is pretty remarkable. Again, not a lot of physical damage, but it did a world of good for American morale. It was on this date, 1942, the famous Doolittle Raid. And April 18th, 1981, the longest game in baseball history begins. At McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings. First pitch at 7 o'clock, and they played until 4 o'clock the next morning. 32 innings before they finally said, we don't have any pitchers anymore. This is insane. They simply stopped the game at 4 o'clock in the morning. They didn't resume the game for a couple of months. That's what I love about baseball. There's no clock. You have to let the other team try and score. The other team gets a chance to hit. We'll revisit this, by the way, coming up. I don't know how many people would sit through a 32-inning game. One celebrity birthday to talk about. Poor Conan O'Brien. I think he just got... What they did to him at NBC when he took over the Tonight Show from Jay Leno was just awful. Of course, he started out as a staff writer for the Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons. Conan O'Brien is 61. Then he took over the Late Show from David Letterman. He hosted Late Night with Conan O'Brien on NBC from 1999 to 2009. And then Jay Leno retired, and Conan O'Brien got the job for hosting the Tonight Show. He hosted it for 7 months, and then they fired him. I don't know why. Then he had his own show on TBS, of course. Conan O'Brien is 61 years old today. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. I know it's cold right now. The furnace is probably on, but it's always a good idea to make sure that you are ready for the heat of summer by having the folks at Alpine Air come out and give your AC unit, your HVAC unit, a look-see to make sure you're ready to go when the heat of summer comes, because it's coming. Special thanks to Pool to Spa Services, the professionals. Hey, pools and spas, if you want one, there's you go. Pool to Spa Services on Worthen Street by the Pybus Public Market. A special thanks to our friends at Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista. Still to come, Dave Erickson and Katie Hoffman from the City of Wenatchee's Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Department. Part 2 of our interview coming up. Mike Mignotti's got an opinion. But first things first, Diesel the dog needs a permanent home. It's Pause for Pets.
Pause for Pets is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, Doghouse Brewery, Leavenworth, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Hi, I'm Corley with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Animal Care Manager here. And this beautiful black lab mix boy is Diesel. Diesel is really special to us because he came to us from another shelter, an overrun shelter up north, where he spent 2 out of his 3 years of life in their kennels. So we're giving him a whole new chance here, hoping that you all can see him and meet him and get to know how wonderful of a dog he is, because he really deserves that chance at a loving home, you know, after what he has been through. And he is just such a resilient boy. Yes, you are. He's beautiful, beautiful personality. He has a great heart. He's fun and loving, and he's just great. He's just a really great, balanced boy. Yes. He has fun in our play group with our dogs, but he does prefer the lady dogs. So we do recommend that if you do have a dog, it be a female. And as always, we would love you to bring your dog down to meet our dogs to make sure it's a good fit for the whole family. Yes, because they have to get along too. We also actually know that we rarely know this, but he's not great with cats. So, you know, if you have a cat, we have some other dogs we can introduce you to, but Diesel may just not be right for that. He's really smart. He has already picked up so many tricks. Oh my gosh, he can sit so well, and he lays down right away. He can even spin, which is kind of rare. He's learned so fast. And he loves toys, and he loves when we throw the ball for him. And when we do, he brings it right back and drops it at our feet, which is just such a polite player thing to do. Yes. And he's really affectionate. Yes. Yes, you are. Yeah, hi. And he just gives the just adorable, lovey eyes. Aww. And we now have new hours. We're open 12:30 to 6:30, Thursday through Tuesday. But we are also open by appointment now, Wednesdays. And you can do that just by going to our website, and there's a big schedule button there. And you also, if you would like, can make an appointment all the other days too. Whatever works best for your schedule, we want to be able to accommodate, and that's why we were changing things around. If you would like to come meet Diesel, we would love you to come.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Pause for Pets is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, Doghouse Brewery, Leavenworth, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
The Honda you want is here, so drive in the moment with the versatile CR-V or Accord. Both named a Car and Driver 10 Best. And when you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2023 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
Like Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, the area of town I live in is an older area and has narrow streets, okay? So when people are parked on both sides of the streets, if two cars opposing each other, yeah, they can barely pass, but it's typical for somebody to pull over into you know, an empty spot so the other person can pass by. Now, when someone does that for me, I always acknowledge them and wave. But when I do it, people don't acknowledge me and wave. No, what I'm saying is this. If someone shows you an act of kindness such as this, acknowledge it. How can we become a better, kinder society if acts of kindness are ignored? So, if you see me coming and I pull over to the side of the road to let you go by, just give me a little smile and wave, okay? That'll make me feel better about myself, and I won't feel so persecuted. All right, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Headaches, neck or back pain? Been injured in a car accident, a work injury, or fall? Studies show that whiplash causes pain year after year. Your neck is supposed to be curved and acts like a spring to absorb shock, but when it's damaged, it straightens or reverses, and this causes headaches and pain. The solution is our specialized comprehensive combination care. You need our team of professionals who will address every point of your injury with very specific equipment and skill. Stop by Wenatchee or Leavenworth for a free consultation.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. We can lift this up.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Welcome back to the program. This is part 2 of our two-part conversation with Dave Erickson, the director of the City of Wenatchee's Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Department, and his latest hire, Katie Hoffman from the beautiful town of Ellensburg via Clarkston she's been around anyway, on her first day at work, and Dave makes her come out and talk with me with nonsense. Yesterday we talked about the city pool update. Things are looking good on time and on schedule. This is now spring. This is when you guys, it's not like you guys aren't working in the winter, you're working your butts off. But now things really kick into high gear in your department. You got a lot of projects in the hopper. Let's start with what's been a great project, especially for the neighborhood, Lincoln Park, the largest of your parks, probably the busiest used, I would guess, between the fields and the stage and the playground and everything else that you've put in over the last year and a half or so. Give us an update on Lincoln Park and what still needs to be done.
Yeah, so absolutely the busiest. You know, ever since we added the disc golf course and the soccer field, you can't keep people off it to even water it. The splash pad, the playground, the picnic shelters, there is something going on all the time there. So Lincoln Park, we're going to be doing a sidewalk project. I know not super exciting, but it's a sidewalk project that on the Crawford parking lot side where we'll connect the Crawford parking lot area all the way up to the trail system. So you'll be able to walk from your car safely, not through the parking lot, but on a sidewalk up there. And then we also have another $310,000 grant with the state they're waiting to hear about, and if we're successful in that, that'll help. We'll go in and renovate the baseball fields. So in that particular case, we will take and strip all the sod off, bring in topsoil, and re-level those baseball fields to try to get them back in a little bit better playing condition.
They've been kind of loved to death, really. They get a lot of use, those baseball fields.
Yeah, a little bit. And you know, Lincoln Park is unique in that it's an old city dump and a canyon. So it settles at different levels and different rates and things. So your field, you might lose a center fielder out there because you might go into a depression. So we're trying to get all those areas cleaned up and straightened out. So hopefully we'll get this grant and can do that work later this summer.
It's one thing to have the neighborhood embrace a park. Every neighborhood basically in the city of Wenatchee has a park within a short walking distance. And the people who live in and around the Lincoln Park area have embraced what you guys have done over the last couple of years. The whole city has, in many respects. It's become a gathering place.
It really has. Yeah, it's really been popular. You know, and we also run events down there. So like the movie in the park, or Tardiatus program, or concerts in the park, things like that. It really helps bring that community together down in that area, and it's really turned out well.
And so, is this about it for the Lincoln Park? I mean, there's always maintenance, but this was a huge project that lasted about 2.5 years, right?
Yes.
So is this about it now with the sidewalk thing coming in?
That's it for the big things. There might be some smaller things over the years like lighting and additional walkway improvements and things like that. But as far as big features, this is pretty well takes care of it.
Let's go to Med-Hal Park. Let's talk about Med-Hal Park, the backstop project there. Mm-hmm. It has a cool little mini soccer field, which is just, the kids just love it.
Yes.
But it, you know, again, kind of like the baseball field, it's kind of loved to death a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's been packed. I mean, that field is used constantly down there, and what you can see on the screen is that this backstop was built and designed. It's only about 8 feet high, the actual fence.
Well, soccer balls fly higher than that.
Typically, yeah, they go a little bit taller than that, and you can see the house that's strategically located directly behind the goal area. So this project will actually raise that backstop up to 22 feet, so it's an actual legitimate backstop and stop those balls from flying over that way.
That's being a good neighbor.
Yeah, we'll also be, you can see the short fence on this side, that'll also be raised up to closer to a 6-foot height to help keep the action on the field instead of being outside. And so that's going to start work this June. So it'll be closed, that field will be closed for about a month because it takes time for the concrete to set up and before you can put stress on it.
That's a capital idea, and that does get a lot of love.
It does. Yeah, that's by far and away the most popular thing at that park.
No question about it. Memorial Park is a cornerstone. It's the first park. It's right smack in the middle of town. It's going to be the home for the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival for 11 days. And when that's all said and done, you're bringing in, this is again a project that's been going on for quite some time. It's a tribute by and for the people who got here before we did.
Right, it's our first park and it's for the first people, right? So what we're doing is called the Piscosa Plaza Project. This has been underway since 2015. So the project itself will create a circular shaped plaza with some raised planter beds around the outside, and within the center of that plaza will be a sculpture of Chief John Harmelt, who was the last chief of the Wenatchee tribe, and he'll be on horseback. His horse is called Kumayakan, and that sculpture is made of found items, and so our sculptor, his name is Judd Turner, he's working on this down in Oregon. A couple of the cool things, the horseshoe around the horse's eye was actually found on Chief Harmelt's former property and donated for the sculpture. So we have a number of different things happening within that sculpture itself, everything from incorporating figures from the legends that are told, like Two Bears and Owl Sisters and things like that are incorporated into that sculpture. So that'll be right in the center, in the heart of that sculpture. Then on the north side, we'll also have a sculpture of a mother and daughter, and that's sort of representing the future of the tribe. And so we had Jordan Lucky as a Wenatchee tribal member, and Kevin Patel actually, and I spent a few days with her last summer doing full-on body scans and videoing and taking pictures of her. She was the model for this bronze mother-daughter sculpture that's representing the tribe's future. And so this will be a 5'9" tall bronze sculpture that'll be walking out of the plaza area to the north. And so that's, this week we'll be providing the go-ahead to build that the final sculpture, and Judd Turner's sculpture is about 75% complete. He's got a little ways to go on that. And we're looking at having a dedication ceremony now, not until next year. So it takes a while to build these bronze sculptures and things.
This is a great brainchild. Who came up with this idea? This is brilliant.
Yeah, so it started.
Obviously, it wasn't you.
It was, well, totally it was, yeah. Hate to take credit for it, but you know, someone's got to. No, actually, so this came out of the Memorial Park planning process. We did a master plan update process back in 2015, and one of those elements was to do something that honored the first tribe of Wenatchee. And from that, we didn't know what that would look like. We brought on a designer and through a competitive process, and the designs that they came up with didn't really meet the goals of the project. They didn't really seem like they had reached out to the tribe to find out what they would like to see or anything. So actually, I took it upon myself to take all that information, came up with a concept plan, ran it by the Wenatchee the Wenatchee Advisory Group for the tribe, the Colville tribes, City Council, and also the Arts Rec and Park Commission, and everybody kind of gave me a thumbs up and said, hey, this is it. This is what we want to do. So from there, then I reached out and found the artists that we thought would be would match the style that we were going for, and so that's where we found Judd Turner and Kevin Patel as our bronze sculptor, who's done sculptures around town. You've seen them, like Guppo the Clown over at the YMCA. And then also Sweet Albert is a Wenatchee tribal artist. He's new, but he's going to be doing sculptures on interpretive sign bases that we're making in there. So it's all come together. We're giving monthly updates to the Wenatchee Advisory Group, and they can't wait for it to come on board. So it's been a pretty amazing process. The support from everybody involved, as well as the City Council to provide the funding for this, has been pretty great.
Dave and I have talked at length on this program the importance of taking large pieces of public real estate and setting it aside for the public. It's big, giant, unbuilt upon places where people can enjoy the outdoors. This is what parks are all about. But the biggest one of them all, I said Lincoln Park, which is true, but we're talking about the trailheads. I'm talking about the system on the west side of town. Again, people love it. People have discovered it, but there are some things people need to remember when you're hiking into the Foothills Trail System on the west side of town. Like, for instance, a bunch of smiling, happy kids right there. There's some etiquette that needs to be observed. Dave, I don't want you to play the heavy, but this is your chance to play the heavy.
Well, it's helpful, you know. All these properties, everything from Saddle Rock to Foothills North to Kenzie's Landing, you name it, have been set aside for everybody to enjoy. And to allow those folks to enjoy them, it's important to remember a few things when you go out and visit it. Of course, this time of year, wildflowers are plentiful. So are the people. You know, it's full of folks. So just try to remind people to, if they're out enjoying those trails, don't pick the flowers. Take a picture of them instead. It'll last a lot longer. The flowers actually die almost immediately once you pick them, because we find them on the trails and that type of thing. We want to make sure that they also, if they bring their four-footed friends with, that on city properties, that they have them on leashes and that they pick up after them. You know, at one point it was a couple years ago, Saddle Rock, we picked up 9 gallons of dog poop right by the trailhead, because just pick up after them and put it in the trash can. Same goes for litter. You know, we don't want to be your mother. Yeah. So bring your litter, put it in the garbage can. We'd really appreciate that. It just makes it better for everybody else out there. A few other things. So parking. I mentioned that, you know, this time of year, it's really crowded. Everybody's up there looking at the great wildflowers and everything else. So if a parking lot is full, make sure that you go to either a different parking location or come back at a different time. So don't park illegally, double park, that type of thing. Please just make sure that you
respect the rights of private property owners.
Yeah, exactly. Don't park on someone's front lawn if it happens to be near a trailhead. So just make sure you do that.
And stay on the trail.
Yes, please stay on the trail. So a couple of reasons for that. Number one, if you're off trail, you're creating potentially new erosion. You know, as these trails get used, the informal trails get used, they're not really built to be sustainable. So you want to make sure you stay on those sustainable trails, so that way it doesn't create erosion, which creates a bunch of other issues. As well as you're maybe a little less likely to step on a snake. You can see them a little bit better if it's on a main trail, you know, if they're coming. So be aware that there are snakes out there. We're in their habitat, not really the other way around. And then deer ticks too, that's another thing. So make sure that you know, it's recommended that you wear long sleeves, long pants if you're up there. And at the very least, check your clothing before you get back into your car. One other thing I want to mention too is, you know, there's a lot of naturally occurring minerals out there in the foothills that it just shows up everywhere. So you have everything from iron and aluminum to arsenic and mercury. So it's really recommended that if you do bring your dogs up to the trails, wipe off their feet, pour water over their feet, clean their feet off so that you're not bringing that home. Same thing for your boots. Clean your boots off, clean your shoes off before you get in the car, before you take it home, because it's not great for you to come in contact with anyway.
Yeah, last I checked, arsenic is quite painful. You really don't want to have arsenic in your system. You just don't. How did you do? We need to mention this. You've had some issues with vandalism at some of your parks. Hale Off-Leash Dog Park jumps to mind, some others as well. Some tagging going on. Is that you expect that to pick up when the kids get out of school, longer days, warmer weather? Is that something that you were concerned with?
Yeah, you know, typically years past, I'd say before about 2019 or so, you would expect that. You know, school gets out, okay, we're going to, the first 2 weeks, we're probably going to get some vandalism, tagging, that type of thing. But anymore, it's increased dramatically. Everything from breaking out toilets to stealing heaters out of the restrooms, unbolting them and stealing them, to lighting things on fire, park benches, and garbage cans, breaking sinks, tagging, you name it. If you can think of it, they do it. In fact, the last couple of years, we've spent close to $150,000 to $200,000 a year just fixing that vandalism or responding to that. So that way, when everybody else comes out to enjoy the parks, it looks like it should look. So it's a challenge.
People will not come to a park that looks like it's been vandalized and garbage thrown everywhere. That's a turnoff.
Right, and we have our guys, they're out there every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, cleaning those parks and making sure that they're as safe as possible and as attractive as possible for all the visitors.
They do great work, and they love their parks. I know almost everybody who's actually in the maintenance part in both taking care of the parks and maintaining the parks. They love their parks, but it drives them nuts when this stuff happens.
Absolutely.
You can just tell talking to them.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I bet it is. But they got a good guy like Dave, and now Katie. Well, let's close with Katie. Nothing personal, but first of all, welcome to the Valley.
Thank you.
So, are you bringing any plans with you? Say these are some of the things I've learned in Ellensburg for my 10 years there, or I'm just going to keep my head above the water, so to speak, and then go from there.
Well, I think right now just keep my head above water, literally, with the pool opening. So that'll be the goal. I'm just going to get my feet under me, and I'm just excited to kind of get more involved and see what there is to offer before I start saying, well, wouldn't this be fun to try? But maybe down the road I'll put a bug in his ear about something fun. So.
Well, I tell you one thing, you're working for a great department. I mean, it is. I mean, it's a great department to work for. And people have been there for a long time, too. And that tells you something.
Yeah, our two supervisors have been with the city for more than 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to say about 35 years total.
Yeah, I think Rob's been there for almost 40.
Well, I think he graduated high school in about 1930, so
yeah,
he started.
Rob, if you're watching the show, he's my age. Anything else, Dave, while I have you here? Is that about it?
Quick thing on rec programs.
Oh, please, yes.
Yeah, so
get signed up and do it.
Yeah, registration for day camp is nearly full, so if you haven't signed up, do it quick. And then also we have youth track, so that registration's underway right now. It closes May 3rd, so you're going to want to sign up really soon. It's for 7 to 10-year-olds, and the program's run up at the high school, and it's a lot of fun. So those two, and you can find all the other ones on our city website.
Yeah, very friendly, and you can reserve your picnic shelters through the city website. You can find out what the pool schedule is if you want to have a big birthday party at the city pool, that kind of stuff. Very user friendly.
Yeah, both from for recreation programs as well as there's additional information on there too. So park maps if you're trying to find a park and things like that.
Cool. Katie, it's nice meeting you.
Yeah,
so the next time we talk about parks on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we'll just have Katie on.
Perfect.
Nothing personal against you, Dave.
Well, they see us together, people are going to talk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Katie Hoffman and some guy named Dave. And we'll be right back.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right, all year round. Right now, bring home select VX and L Series tractors for 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months. Contact your Kubota dealer for details.
It was 39 when this show started. It's now 41. So we're warming up, but it's still pretty chilly. If you're going to be out and about this morning, you definitely want to bring a sweater, no doubt about that. But we're going to have a beautiful day today, lots of sunshine. Tomorrow, though, a little on the windy side, not super windy, but wanted to remind you one more time, those pressure gradients are going to tighten up just a little bit as an upper level low will come into our area. And this is something we don't see too often. Look at the arrows there. We're talking about an easterly wind, which doesn't happen a great deal. In the north central Washington area, normally our wind comes either from the north or through the gaps of the Cascades and the Puget Sound area when systems come in off the ocean. But this is going to be easterly winds tomorrow and very, very low relative humidity. So it's going to be very dry and very gusty tomorrow. So dead grasses, I hope they don't get a head start on fires. But want to let you know it's going to be a little breezy, especially on Friday afternoon. To the forecast we go. Lots of sunshine today, nice light breeze. We're basically going to do Wednesday all over again with a high of about 61. We hit 60 yesterday. Clear tonight, 37 for the overnight low. Friday, lots of sunshine, again about 61. A little on the breezy side, as I mentioned. Not real windy, but you know, you're going to notice it. Friday night, the winds die down, 37 for the overnight low. No complaints at all for the weekend. We do it again. This is our second consecutive weekend of just gorgeous weather. 63, gobs of gooey good sunshine on Saturday, and 63 on Sunday. All right, that's it for us. Start your weekend with us tomorrow morning. Till then, bye-bye.
In Abu Dhabi, an unforgettable city in the United Arab Emirates.
I can't believe it, we're in Abu Dhabi and surrounded by camels!
That's me, Elizabeth, and today I'm exploring an incredible part of the world with my best friends, Jennifer Veal and Bryant Wood. We'll tour the city center.
Liz, I'm getting hot.
I can fix that.
And discover some of the coolest places to visit.
This is the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque and it's just beautiful.
Then we'll escape to the desert to meet the camels and go dune bashing.
Are you ready? Let's do this.
Before visiting a very special place, the Falcon Hospital.
Yes, just like this and she will enjoy.
You're so pretty, lady.
An adventure in Abu Dhabi is one you'll never forget. So let's go make some memories.
Bye, Raj. Bye. I love you. I have to leave the desert now.
Welcome to Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World from Abu Dhabi.